How's it going, everybody? Matt here with Marathon Music. This is our first ever episode. This is Marathon Mondays, and I'm here with a very good friend of mine, something new, aka Marco Rodriguez, rapper from Boston. Today we're just gonna be chopping it up, just talking about Marco's music, talking about his new releases. Hopefully you guys could go check them out. But yeah, first off, big news today. Marco reached 200 followers on the app SoundCloud today, which is amazing. I've been following him since high school. I've known him since high school, very good friend of mine. So it's very, very good to see him sort of grow into this amazing artist. But first, let's talk about how you got started with your music. You want to dive inside?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope people will love the outcome and the result of this. And I only hope for your further growth as well as mine.
Nah, man, thank you very much.
So starting off, I used to have a very old head mentality, if you would. I used to be like a old Joe Budden. I would be like, man, Little Yachty sucks, man. Lil Uzi Vert, man.
Fuck SoundCloud rap. We don't need it.
Zan, man, they fucking suck, bro. These guys rap. They only mumble. They only you know. And then when I first started, it was kind of almost out of spite.
Yeah.
Just, like, I can fucking do better than that. I can totally do better than that. But then as I started formulating my own voice, pretty much from writing, because I would always write in journals and poetry and whatnot. So from there, I kind of stepped it up to freestyling, and specifically freestyling off of my whatever I can come up from my head immediately.
Yeah.
And it was through freestyling, as much as I did with a few friends here and there, I learned that these same people, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, whatever the fuck their name is, you know, whoever it may be, who can be considered a mumble rapper, there's so many more things and aspects in regards to their own creation of music than just mumble rap.
Nah, definitely, yeah. Like they do a very good job sort of like creating their own genre, you know, like Lil Uzi with that sort of like, I'm not gonna say like emo rap, but more of like the rager stuff, and just Yachty with that good Atlanta sound. But like with going back to the freestyle, like how did you find success with that? Did you find much success with that? And like I know, like was it just like for fun at first, or you just like, I really want to sit down, start recording and dive into it?
At first it really was just for kicks, you know. Again,
Yeah.
just me and your friend, you know, you and your friends just shooting the shit, bored out of your mind. You
Oh
know?
yeah.
Oh, what's going to be? Talk some shit.
Talk some shit on some beats, some tight beats.
It's like the freestyles were terrible from all of us, you know, like no one knew what the fuck they were doing. But over the course of time, like I was practicing, because I was like, you want to know what? I can do better, honestly. Like I can like separate myself from my own ego and be like, well, this probably isn't my best work if I were to try to actually continue to do this. And I ended up liking it. I ended up liking the fact that I could pretty much take out any thought that I had in my head and I could structure it, organize it.
Yeah.
Clearer for me to visualize it and to hear it audibly than to just have it all jumbled in my head, because I overthink a lot and I have a lot of thoughts compact out at the same time.
Yeah.
Through freestyling, it helped manifest it from one giant like jumble of words to like actual coherent sounds and lines and phrases.
Yeah, you sort of get a feel of rapping and sort of get that feel of like the flows you want to take and everything. And it's like, I'm very impressed that you brought up the ego thing, because it's like not a lot of people really understand that concept. They don't understand how much like the ego really holds, like just for a space of like creating content. You know, it's like most people just think, hey, every release is my best release, you know, which is cool, you know, but it's just like it takes real artists to be like, hey, you know, this is a no, or this is completely scrap this, you know. And damn, that's really impressive. So like, what really inspired you? Like what I know you're talking about you sort of had like the old head and like mentality and everything like that. So what really inspired you to rap? Like who are you listening to and you're like, damn, I want to start rapping? Who is that for you?
When I was young, I think the old head mentality came from the product of listening to old heads.
Yeah.
Because my and niggas are gonna say this is corny, obviously, for a valid reason, you know. But my favorite rapper is Eminem. Like, you feel me? And so I
Yeah.
kind of well, and it's it's probably not the most age appropriate thing to be listening to when you're like 8 and 9, because he's talking like he's talking about like burying Shorty. You feel me? Like beating on her and shit and murdering people for no real reason and excessive drug use. But I think what really got me attached to him was the structure, his lyrical structure, and how he could kind of create these very abstract ideas, these very wild worlds and atmospheres from just living day to day. You know,
Yeah. That's
because
all.
it's like this was his life. You feel me? I've always like thought of it as a case study almost for like
Wow.
itself.
Yeah.
Without like for the artist, there's the art and then there's the person who's making it, you know?
Yeah.
Like an actual person behind the things that they're making. And so the more I got into the lyricism aspects, the production aspects, and the compositional aspects, the more I wanted to kind of find out about the person, who he was really, and why he made the things that he made, why he said the things that he said. And so with that, I applied that to other old heads who I would listen to, like Joel Ortiz, pretty much all of Slaughterhouse, which includes Joe Budden.
Hey, nothing that Slaughterhouse, they're very solid group, very, very underlooked group in terms of just like hip hop in general, you know. I feel like they get super overlooked just because they're old heads, you know. It's like it's
Exactly.
a shame.
They're really good. Like they're really good. And even Joe Budden. Like I'm not the biggest Joe Budden fan, obviously, you know, but I have to give credit where credit is due. You
Yeah.
know, I have to gain respect. You know, I can't fault him because he has talent. Absolutely. You know, to say that he doesn't is it would be lying. You know,
Yeah,
but
no,
like it would be it would be Slaughterhouse, it would be a lot of Jay-Z, a lot of Kanye, you know, and that would be like my circle of listening when I was like super super young. So it kind of left an impression of like lyrical excellence, and that was like the standard for me.
not and that's like rightfully so. I feel like that's such a great standard. Like anyone could say what they want about Eminem being like corny, this or that, you know, but it's just like at the end of the day, he's a really solid rapper. He's a really solid storyteller, you know. I feel like his music sort of declined the more recent stuff, but I mean he's been at it for what 25 years or so, maybe
Exactly.
something like that, you know. So I mean, he's been, and I feel like he's been very solid. But back to you. So like, were you really listening to these people while you were sort of like going into your creative processes? Where like, how would you use their techniques and sort of make them your own?
I would certain aspects I would kind of appreciate in not only in regards to like lyricism itself, but
Yeah,
actual like rhythm and whatnot, and the placement of syllables and whatnot. You know, taking proper breaths, taking proper like recording prerequisites almost.
yeah.
I used to like, yeah, I feel like we all do this because we all like kind of live the same life, but I would be rapping their songs when I was like, you know, 13, 14, and I would be going off. I remember like I used to know the forever verse. I used to know M's forever verse like the back of my fucking
He
hand.
was, he was talking shit on that one though. He was really talking on that.
As now. So it was those things that I like kind of adapted into my own sound, which wasn't really developed because by the time I actually started rapping, by the time I actually started like freestyling and whatnot, I was around 18 years old.
Yeah,
So like, and I still again had that old head mentality, like everyone else who isn't a lyrical mastermind fucking sucks. you know. But then I started really evaluating people who I admired my entire life. You know, I started evaluating not only who they are as rappers, as people who work within the craft of hip hop, but I started placing them, like I started appreciating them as artists, you know, because artistry is much different and kind of larger than rapping. You know, rapping's a good part of it, obviously, and the
Art.
creation of words and lyrics and song structure. That's all great and good, but in order to become a well-known artist and a well-versed artist, you have to kind of hit keys outside of those things. You know, you have
And
to kind of break out
definitely.
in order to have a fully developed sound. In order to, you know, in order for people to really appreciate the things that you do. You know, a guy can just rap his fucking head off, but
Always.
if he doesn't have taste, if he doesn't have any sort of, you know, if he doesn't have any sort of direction, if he doesn't have any sort of like flavor, personality to it, then it kind of just all falls apart, you know.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
To M, and not only M, but more so Hobson, you know, like people who are like incredibly talented when it comes to actually rapping, when it comes to song, when it comes to lyric structure, lyric pacing, cadence, and all of that. But if you're not working on those other aspects of song creation, if you're not working on melodies that maybe hit, if you're not working on things that'll sound good to other people besides yourself, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot almost, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the game sort of evolved from just rapping into artistry, you know, like all of those points that you're just bringing up, like sort of creating a melody and sort of creating music for other people to enjoy. Because like so many rappers couldn't take that jump into this more digital streaming age, you know, with music just being as accessible as anything, you know. And you know, it's really impressive that you bring that up, because not everybody sort of displays that. You know, a lot of rappers would sort of just stay inside of their creative box, which nothing is wrong with that at all. You know, for the most important thing with music is to make something that you can enjoy first, you know. But sort of just like developing as an artist or producer or singer, band, whatever the case is, sort of getting that melody, creating outside of the box, you know, just being uncomfortable will really help you be comfortable in life. And by that I mean, it's just like you put yourself, try these new things as an artist, as a rapper, as whatever your skill set is, just really trying some new things, and it will really work. And it will work with your music, and it will work with networking, it will work with just like your social media profiles, you know, just really showcasing that, hey, I'm more than just a rapper, and you're doing an excellent job with that. And that'll bring me up to our next point. Let's talk about some of your music. Understand that you've dropped a song today with a good friend of ours, Ricardo Argzeus, which definitely go check him out if you haven't. But let's talk about that. That beat is from me. That's not the point though. Let's talk about where your head was when you were writing that, because that song was like, if you haven't listened to that already, I highly suggest you do. It's on his Spotify. It's on Apple Music, right? It's on Apple Music. It's on SoundCloud as well. Uh, let's talk about that for a minute. How'd you write that?
So with my writing process, I listen to the beat a lot. Like
Yeah,
over the course of a few days, you know, recognize the rhythms, recognize things that I like about it, recognize things that I don't like about it, you know, kind of get a good idea, a good feel of the instrumental.
yeah,
And usually what will happen to me is that, like, I don't want to sound like spiritual miracle or anything like that, but sometimes I feel like I get something from the beat. Like it's not like it's communicating to me almost, but like I'm I'm picking up what it's putting down, you know, as in I'm able to understand it a little bit more. I think of it like as a dance with like a person that you've never really met before, you know.
yeah. Wow.
Like in the groove, you know, you two complete different entities, you know, within the same area, within the same circumstances. at the moment. But once you guys truly start vibing, start getting a rhythm for each other, then you start to blend almost. And so I think that's what happened when I was creating the lyrics for this. All of my lyrics are things that I personally experienced. Those are things that I've gone through, things that I've learned from through said experience, you know.
Yeah.
And so in writing this, I was like, what the beat was telling me at the time was like, you gotta be you're not gonna fuck around. Like you have to be legitimate.
Playtime's over.
No, seriously.
Playtime's
like,
over.
This song isn't going to be about being the best. This song isn't going to be about out rapping other people. This song isn't going to be about, being better than someone else or some other rapper. This song is going to be about you and what you've done and what you're able to accomplish through your own means. This song is going to be a service to you. And so I was like, okay,
that's real. That's real.
I'm like, that's great. That's sick, because I write about myself all the time. So in creating that, I was just kind of spitting facts.
You got in your bag. You really got into your bag with that. Like just testing different flows and just rhyme schemes impeccable. Your delivery was truly impeccable. Like as we both saw, there's such like a great response from some of our peers on social media, which I think is just a blessing of its own. But man, like I feel like I could speak for our community too, that you're doing a very, very, very great job just as an artist, as developing as a person as well, more importantly, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot, to sort of just like to be an artist, to be a good artist, to rap. I mean, anybody could write a few bars, but it's just like, all right, like, okay, what are you saying? Just the substance that you really talk about with the battles through yourself, battles with the outside world, just self-doubt. Like it's all real concepts that like you're not afraid to speak on. That's just like, that's amazing. That's honestly amazing to me. And you can really feel, listening to your music, you really feel something. You genuinely feel something. And I listened to that song when you sent it to me, and I was like, wow, first off, I could relate to it. I could really relate to what you were saying, both you and Ricardo. But more importantly, it was just like, wow, I could really fucking replay this. Like I could go in my car later and just zoom around, just listening to that. And it's just like such a fucking beautiful song. But what else do you have dropping soon?
I am currently, so the plan is for me to drop a few more singles and just to, kind of put out, pretty much to show people what I can do.
Yeah.
As of like 2021, because a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, I put out a demo that I elonged as a demonstration of my abilities.
Very solid demo, by the way. That was if you haven't listened to that, guys, definitely recommend going to check that out. And not only for the sake of him, but just to see how he's developed as an artist. Just very solid rap, very solid music. But go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. No, don't. So like I felt like that was a precursor to not only showing people what I could do, but showing myself what I can do.
Yeah.
Showing myself my limitations, showing myself what subjects work best for me, showing myself what beats work best for me, showing myself what creative mindset I was at the time. Because to me, making music is all about growth. Making music
definitely
it's all about putting myself on the page, because I use this as a coping mechanism, in order to live through life. Not to say that my life is the hardest. Obviously, there are people who have it significantly worse than I do.
Yeah.
But this is how I put my thoughts to the page. This is how I feel calm. This is how I'm able to convey my emotions in a healthy, productive way. So at the moment, to answer your question, sorry, I'm probably just rambling.
Bro, you're good.
I'm gonna drop a few more singles to that are different. Get it? Something new. Haha. Um, that are all relatively different from one another, just to give people a taste of who I am. You know, give people an idea of what I can do, my new limitations, my new reaches, my new goals, my new perspective on things. Because again, it's about growth. And if I wasn't going to grow from the time that I made the demo to now when I'm dropping new singles, then it would still be productive for me, but it wouldn't the music itself wouldn't have evolved to the point where it has, you know?
Yeah, I feel that you're definitely a real fresh face, not so much new to the game, but very fresh face for rap, you know, like just your concepts, what you're speaking on, how authentic it is, you know, because we'll definitely hear a lot of different artists just talk about things that aren't really true to themselves, you know, and I feel like that's just like a that creates a big divide with just legitimacy, you know, and it's not something that a lot of people can get behind, and I'm very glad to see that you're being authentic, you're being like coming up organically, you know. It's just beautiful, like damn, it's really beautiful. Do you have any like projects coming out, albums, any plans for visuals, anything like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. So the drop time for the project that I would like to bring out, I have no clue. I'm still trying to get a point of consistency within dropping music. I've kind of learned the algorithm for a certain distributor, so I'm like figuring that out at the
Yeah.
same. And so I kind of want to right now I'm focused on the singles aspect, just so people can see what's up, just so people can be like, if they like my music and they like one song, they can go and look for another one. You know, they can go, and if they like that one, they can look for another one. And if they don't like that, then they can find something else. You know, like I want people to have options as to what they're listening to. That's why I feel like I started putting music out on multiple platforms, because as much as I would love to continue putting it on SoundCloud, not everyone uses it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like it. You know, if as many people like it as they do on my SoundCloud, then people will probably like it on other platforms too.
Oh no, absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
you know, why not try to cater
Branch
to
out a bit.
my potential fans might want? You know?
Yeah, that's definitely a great way to go about it, you know. You're very right with the whole SoundCloud thing. It's a great platform. It's SoundCloud reaches a whole different like a whole different audience, and sort of just like with their algorithms a bit different, you know, like it's pretty cool that you could be on SoundCloud and just like I could listen to I'll just say Tyler Creator, for instance, and it'll just give me like all sorts of different artists. And I feel like that's how you find a lot of growth, you know, with your music as well. Just sort of just like the branches of one artist before, and you're definitely gonna find your success. And we've talked about it before. Like your time is coming soon, but damn, it's very good to see. Very good to see that you're branching out. But I know you're talking about Eminem and Slaughterhouse and all that. What are you listening to? Like, what's in your playlist, bro?
I like I have like a thing where I like to collect things. Like I used to collect cards when I was younger.
Oh
I
hell
used to
yeah,
articles and shit.
dude!
So
Bionicles are that shit.
I love that shit. So now I'm now collecting music, and I have been for like as long as I've been rapping. And so I have a set playlist called Songs You Can't Skip, which is, if I'm correct, a total of 16 hours worth of music.
Not bad, not bad.
Like, and it's just shit that I'm like, oh, I like this. I'll put this in here. Oh, I like this. I'll put this in here. But the I feel like the main importance of having said playlists is the wide range of things that are on. You know, because they'll be like Eminem, they'll be like Slaughterhouse, they'll be like Jay-Z, they'll be Kanye. But
Yeah,
then because I've grown not only as an artist but as a person, I've learned to appreciate other sounds. I've learned to appreciate other genres and subgenres in music. And so I'm able to pick out things like, oh, I love this chick, Snow Allegra. Oh, I love this chick, Kali Uchis. Fuck that. I love that shit. Oh, fucking like old X. Oh, when he's screaming, oh, I love that shit. You know?
Now, like
Like,
outside of rap, any other like sort of genres or subgenres that you find like inspiration for your own writing or your own work or poetry, for instance? Is there really anything with that?
absolutely. So if I were to pick them out and list them on my hand, it would be a lot of jazz, a lot of experimental music, and that could derive from experimental hip hop, experimental house, whatever, techno, a lot of pop. I've been getting into pop music nowadays because it's like there's a science to making things sound catchy. There's a
Yeah,
science. I don't know what it is, but I know that it's there. There's like it sounds like formulaic, but there's like totally like a set of prerequisites that you have to do in order to make a sound catchy to
catch definitely.
um I listen to a lot of I come from Hispanic descent, so I grew up listening to a lot of Spanish music, a lot of salsa, a lot of
Nice.
merengue, a lot of bachata, a lot of like African folklore music and whatnot that resides in like Cuba, Puerto Rico, all around the world type shit. Um, let's see what else. I'm trying to think of like all of them before I like lose the fire.
All right, so how about this? Do you have like a outside of hip hop? So give me like your top five artists and like top five songs from them, or like a favorite song from each of these artists from these genres, just showing your diversity. Because I feel like this is it's very important to know, especially when you're talking about how you're inspired by these artists. Can we really see of anything pop esque, sort reggaeton esque, something jazzy coming from you soon, or
While I feel like I haven't evolved to that point yet,
yeah,
I can see it. I can totally see that happening in the future. I'm trying at the moment. I'm trying to work with as many other artists as possible, not only within the rap scene but within other scenes of music like R&B, soul, experimental shit like that. Because not only do I want to, work with them just from artist to artist, but I want to learn from them. I want to learn how they make their sound. I want to learn how they're able to do their thing, how they're able to get themselves to the point where they can create a song that's different from rap music. You know, I feel like life is just a very large learning experience, and the my goal at least is to learn as much as humanly possible before I die.
that's a great goal. That's a great goal.
Get much information and much experience from other people like you, like Ricardo, like all of the other
Thank you.
rappers in the Everett rap scene, as many people as humanly possible. Even people who aren't rappers, my friends, people who love and support me, people who don't love and support me. I feel like it's good to get impressions from everyone. But if I were to list down like artists that aren't from the rap sphere that have had an impact on me, I would say I'm gonna go with five because it's a lot. I would say Death Grips, definitely. I love the energy from him and his band. I feel like MC Wright is a
A
man of
legend.
he's a man of many talents. I like that explosiveness is like, oh dude, that's so fucking sick. I love that shit. Um, Niggas are gonna hate me. Metal niggas are gonna hate me for this, but Avenged Sevenfold. I love metal, and I even more so death metal. And a lot of Avenged Sevenfold's early work was death metal, like screamo, like guttural, pig noises type shit.
Nice.
Like, I just love the passion, the heat, the the fire in that music, the fire in
It hits
creating
your
that.
soul. It hits your soul. Like I would even find myself listening to some metal too, and I'm like, damn, this shit's hard. Like I'd be fucking jumping up on my bed and shit, fucking
Literally,
head banging. Like
no,
it's
literally. I remember I went to my first concert was an Avenged Sevenfold concert, and I was head thrashing so much that I
hell yeah.
had a neck issue for like
God damn.
days. And I was like, help. It looked like Igor. Hunchback of Notre Dame, bro.
Now, do you have something that's really stuck out to you that you learned this year? Like, what do you think is the most important thing that you learned this year? The most really beneficial thing that you learned this year? It could be whether it's in for music or just in life in general.
Mhm. So I'm gonna chalk that up to two things because they feel like they both go hand in hand.
Yeah,
But the first thing is understanding my purpose in doing everything that I do and understanding why did I do what I do. And I realized that the reason why I do what I do, the reason why I make music, the reason why I've continued to do the things that I do and the things I'm going to do in the future is because I enjoy it, because it's for me. You know,
definitely.
in the day, it's I make music for myself. This is a coping mechanism for me, for
Yeah.
Marco. It's like other like other people are gonna like it, other people are gonna hate it, but regardless of that, I'm just going to continue writing. I'm going to continue rapping. I'm going to continue jotting down ideas. I'm going to continue evolving. I'm going to continue doing the things that I want to do because it's things that I genuinely, as a person, want to do.
And I think that's such an important thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to grow on that. That's such an important thing, not just for music, but just in life in general. Just sort of putting down what the outside has to say, or let outside influence really choose what makes you happy. Because it's going to be really hard to find that sort of happiness without like finding it within yourself. It's just I always preach it to people: just love yourself first. That's the most important thing. Any problem in life just would come down, well, not any problem, but most sort of like interpersonal problems will really come down to, hey, do I love myself? And everybody could love themselves more. Everybody could spread more love. Everybody could just spread more positivity. And I think that's just that's something that just needs to be expressed more. And I'm glad that you're really talking about that. But sorry for interrupting. Go back to what you're saying.
You're fine, absolutely. I think you're 110% correct. You have to be real to yourself, you know. But the second thing that I've taken the most impressionable thing to me that I've learned is to just do, is to just again, I overthink. So
Yeah.
in the past, me overthinking has resulted in me missing out on opportunities because I was too busy planning, too busy wishing that I was in certain circumstances that I wasn't at the time, wishing that I could have things set up the way I'd like to. By the time I felt like I'm comfortable to approach a thing, that thing's gone. That boat sailed. So now I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I feel like at the moment. Dude, like it's good to be cautious, and I'm always going to be cautious and skeptical because that's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I've decided that I'm not gonna sit by and wait for things to happen in order for me to get to the point where I want to get to. If I want to get to a point, I'm going to work to get to that point.
Because it's a dog eat dog world. It's a real dog eat dog world. It's like we're playing for keeps. It's not just like it's not like we're kids anymore. No, we get to play for keeps. If we have opportunities to make a career, make a living, and be happy off that, like damn right we're gonna do that. Just like that's a huge thing that you just said. Just really just doing. Not hesitating, just doing. I was held back by that for a while, like the last sort of taking my hiatus from music. I was just like, it's like, damn, I was very nitpicky. I was very hesitant. I get off that. We've had plenty of conversations, just being motivated, like really you helped me motivating me to get into this music thing again, because it's just like I didn't really have that mindset for a while. I really didn't. I was just like, what, I'm gonna sit back and sort of just chill, work at my own pace. But I was just like, damn, I have to play for keeps. I'm in my 20s now. I'm playing for keeps. I gotta do this. And it's just like it's so much better that we could have fun with it and be able to do this with the people that we do it with, and just love it. Just be happy with our work, happy with ourselves, because it's just like it's so much. It's really the coolest thing that we have such a good audience of people with us, and a great bunch of creatives that are working with us to help us do this, because it makes everything more enjoyable. Like it's fucking great. But back to what you're listening to, is there anything that any music, any albums that you're looking forward to, or any music releases from anybody? Is there anything like that?
At the moment, I can't be like super specific because at least this is what I got from making music as long as I have. I don't know if it's the same thing for everybody else because it's super individualized, but I'm so in the sphere of creating that I kind of block everything else out. I don't know if that's a healthy thing, but I like I said earlier, like I'll save songs here and there into the playlist, and I'll listen to that playlist, and always putting it on shuffle, like
Yeah.
a random five or random selection of songs at that point. You know, that can kind of orchestrate how I'm feeling or what I may be thinking at the time. But there's nothing that I've like. I think the last major thing I like listened to consistently was the new Pop Smoke album. I think that's like the like
Rest
and
in
that
peace. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
God, that was so much better than I thought it was gonna be. I
So,
thought it was I thought it was gonna be ass cheeks. Not to say that Pop Smoke's bad, obviously. He's a very good artist, absolutely. He's a man of very talents. Though he may kind of have the same beats, like he
the whole
may
drill, the whole drill thing.
yeah, he may have
Yeah.
the same like out and the same like selection of and song structure. There's like an intricacy in those things, like there are things that make it one song different than the other.
Dude,
I can really appreciate
yeah.
that.
Now
And
he's
so
so
and I
good.
was like, oh wow, this is actually full of fucking bangers. Like what? This is heat. And that's the thing though, because like if I were to ask Marco like 4 years ago, if Pop Smoke were to exist back then, I'd be like, yo, this nigga sucks, bro. This nigga's actually like, doing the same fucking shit. But now that I'm a lot more open musically and creatively, I can be like, wow, he really did a great job.
He did a wonderful job. He did a wonderful job. And there's that, and I feel like the anticipation is a big thing too. And like when Pop Smoke first came out, people were sort of in that boat, like, all right, he had 4 bangers that all sort of had that same melody, same rhythm. How can he grow? And you're completely, he dropped an album and it had just banger after banger after banger. I mean, it had its share of misses, but for the most part, it was a thorough project. But no, I felt like that with Eternal Take. Mind you, I've been a fan with Uzi, with the deluxe too. I've been a fan of Uzi's for years now, for years, like Canadian Goose Days type shit like that. It was just like sort of having that anticipation, it sort of creates like, damn, his music might be lackluster. And I feel like that's the response that a lot of artists are getting nowadays, especially with the whole leaks. With now we're in the age of leaking, Playboy Cardi having his music leaked, Drake having his music leaked, all these artists having their music leaked, and it sort of like creates this very like lackluster effect because his music comes up, the album comes up, and it's sort of just like, damn, what's this, But then like Whole Lot of Red, I remember I made a post about this. I thought it was mids when it first came out. I called it a whole lot of mids, and then I started replaying that shit, and then I'm fucking screaming at the top of my lungs, ever since my brother died. Like I'm yelling that shit. That shit's hard as hell.
Best song on the
No, I think it is. And I'm really hoping that's the album I'm hoping that has a deluxe and has some of the leaks as like official releases. That's a whole different thing. But yeah,
Judah trying to strong arm him into bringing it out. He's like, listen, I'm gonna come to your house type shit.
Did you get to listen to his Whole Lot of Red? Did you listen to the Mario Judah Whole Lot of Red?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
but I haven't like given it the full like Anthony Fantano listen. Like
definitely should. It's what you think it would be, for like the sort of like a Playboy Cardi parody. I think it's like 3 or 4 songs. But I think there's one called Bit Ya, and that shit's just like, it's just like it's incoherent squeaking into a microphone, but it's just like, damn, this like the beat's so fucking crazy for it. Wait,
If you were to
say
sing,
it again.
it's like if you once you bring everything together, it sounds so much more than what it actually is. And I think that's like the biggest thing in composing music.
Definitely, definitely.
And blending them together, you know, because you can have a really strong part on one end and then everything else will be shit, you know, but everything needs to be balanced almost, and not even balanced, just like everything needs to be worked on, you know,
Definitely.
to a certain, everything needs to be not the bare minimum, you feel me?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. But I mean, sort of like, but back to that, I feel like this is for more so just like the people thinking to getting to artistry and music and everything. It's okay to not understand, you know, it's okay to take these risks. It's okay to sort of try new things, because I know I know you're gonna agree with me on this, but most of music's trial and error. You sort of find this one thing to do, you think you have it, you know, and it's gone. I got for myself with music, I've scrapped so many projects, I've scrapped so many beats, so many just ideas I had, but I didn't have that trial and error months. I was just like, damn, this doesn't sound catchy. This isn't gonna be a banger, and that's okay. Not everything has to be a banger. Not everything has to be this fucking thing. You just gotta be happy. You gotta be happy with yourself and happy with the quality.
Really,
That's
you don't
that's
blend them.
that's all it is,
And that's
bum.
a part of growth. That's a part of developing as a person, understanding that you do have flaws and understanding that every piece of work that you put out isn't going to be your best. However, you have the option, you have the self responsibility of either tossing that aside or going out of your way to really chop it down, to really break into it, and to really make it into a thing that at least you yourself, the creator of it, are proud of, you know, something that you yourself will enjoy.
No,
At the
definitely.
bare minimum, you yourself will enjoy, let alone what everyone else may think, let alone what everyone else may perceive or understand of it. And I think that like comes into play with a whole lot of Red and a whole lot of other projects too, and a whole lot of artists too. Because like
Definitely.
a lot of people could be like, oh, so and so is really one dimensional. Oh, this person can only do this thing. This person can only be like a one trick pony. But there are other aspects in music that aren't those things that people will normally look at. There are other aspects in music that people wouldn't really look at primarily, but are still well done, still well crafted, you know? So it's like the more you grow and the more open you become to other things, the more you get to appreciate
No,
the
definitely.
art.
I feel like that's very advanced thinking. That's very advanced thinking. I'm glad that you're talking about that. But a lot of the listeners are it's mostly just like it would be casual. You know, a lot of fan bases obviously would have their diehard fans, but a lot of music listeners would just be casual listeners and having this sort of like really anal critique of artists and different types of music, and it's just unfair. You know, it's really unfair um to just like but it is what it is at the end of the day. But it's sort of unfair, and by that I mean it's just like you you gotta know, like, people really need to understand, like, hey, if I'm creating music, there's a whole different process to this than there is to anything. Like, it's hard to write a hit song. It's hard to write to like make this fucking slapper beat. It's hard to compose. It's hard as fuck to compose instrumental music, and people don't understand that. People really don't understand that. If it's not catchy, if it's not popping on Twitter, if it's not popping on Instagram, on Facebook, it's like it's automatically ruled out. And that goes back to being yourself. Always be yourself. Always trust yourself, and always just love yourself. You know, everybody has flaws. We're all different people. We're all here for a reason. You know, and sort of just finding that reason it's a process of its own, but it's a fun fucking process. There you try anything you want. You could do anything you want, whether it's music, fucking sports, writing, anything. Just be yourself, find your true colors. And this isn't directed at you. I'm just saying this in general. But it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to be alive, and we both have battled with our own problems, and finding this music as being our muse, our coping mechanisms, and being able to create it and be able to put it out to a audience that is giving us love. It's a whole blessing. But really just being yourself, be true to yourself, and love yourself and love the process, because even overnight success isn't overnight, like that's the thing. Like, no one, even those people that would blow up overnight didn't blow up overnight. Their thing took processes and processes. Like a good friend of ours that he shall not be named, but a friend of ours that let's just say writes good music.
Stop.
That we're not gonna put out a name, but we have to, like, we're to understanding that all artists have to be these huge celebrities, and these people have to write these bangers and bangers and bangers. You could be anybody and do anything. Like, this person that I'm talking about, what was he have, like 4,000 followers or something on the gram?
Probably more, but like, in the point is that he's not going to be recognized immediately because
exactly
of the presence,
And
However, if he didn't exist, then we wouldn't
have any of them. We wouldn't have any of the music that we had today, and that's real shit.
It's like, if it's like the way I think about it is like a piece of a puzzle almost. And if you have like all 599 pieces out of a 600 piece puzzle, you're still going to be missing the whole picture without that one piece,
No, that's definitely right. But tell us where we could find your music for anybody that's looking, for anybody that's interested. And I do recommend checking out his music. It's phenomenal, just works of art, true artistry, true hip hop. If you're just a hip hop connoisseur like I am, just where can we find you?
I'm on SoundCloud as Something New. That's my stage name. I'm on Instagram as at Marco with the Flambe, like spelt out whole. I'm now on Spotify. Thank Christ. I'm now on Apple Music. Oof. Now I'm on iTunes as well. So I'm on 5 different things so far. That's where you guys can find me. And I'm also on Facebook as Marco Rodriguez, but I don't think that's as fun as everyone.
Not nearly as fun. No, but I'll be definitely I'll be putting your handles in the description and in the boxes of the video. Just anybody that's going to check them out, definitely recommend it. But I want to thank you once again for coming on to the first episode of Marathon Mondays. This is huge. The inauguration. We're really trying to turn this into a real positive experience for just music in general. Just open conversation, just enjoying life, enjoying music, enjoying what we create, because as far as we know, this is the only life we have, and it's a blessing to be able to have these conversations and just open-mindedness, just talking to genuine people. But just want to thank you again for coming out, Marco. That's going to be it for this episode of Marathon Mondays. Thank you for tuning in.